Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Cricket Caviar. Today, I have a special guest with me. Karthik, he has also joined for some of the previous videos, but I don't think I have introduced him well. So, we used to watch a lot of cricket together in college, and it's he also has a great reading of the game and also goes into the depth to do a lot of research. So, Karthik, I'm very excited today what you're bringing to the table about the domestic cricketers and how they have been emerging from the ranks of Indian cricket. So, yes, let's start this discussion, Karthik.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Shikhar, for the kind introduction. I'm glad to be part of your channel. Um, yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed many cricket discussions with you and happy to provide some inputs on a very interesting topic, I'd say, very current topic, emerging domestic players. I believe the context is about right to discuss this because I think over the last few months, uh, after I guess almost 4 or 5 months now, because of the aftermath of the India New Zealand series and then also the Border Gavaskar Trophy, there's a lot of increased focus on domestic players, on potentially those who can come in and step up at the international level. So I think with that context, I think it's very exciting to dive into domestic cricket. A bit.
Mm,
Thanks
mm,
to, I think, the BCCI, now the coverage of domestic cricket has become very extensive, I would say, compared to our times 10 years ago. I
mm,
think you will see a lot of under 19, under 16 televised matches today,
mm,
uh,
mm,
you know, um, in today with Geo and many other channels coming in. So there's fair bit in addition to obviously the Ranji Trophy games, the knockouts of the Vijay Hazare and Syed Mushtaq Ali. So I've been following for quite a few years. I think now it's only increased coverage. So yeah, happy to get started and dive right in.
mm. So, what exactly, Karthik, do you have in mind? Are we going because Indian cricket is in transitional phase right now, and we, as cricket fans, we are looking for a new generation of cricketers to come in and take over. Obviously, we have had a great team over the last few years. Home domination for over complete home domination of 12 years, and now we are probably looking into a transition, which uh, we also met during that time in 2011 when Indian cricket was transitioning. And what do you feel now? Who are some of the current cricketers who are putting their claim in for a place in Indian side?
Yeah, I mean, there's a fair few. I have a list prepared for today, but before we dive into that, I think given
Hmm.
the context, I mean, you're looking at Virat Kohli, who's today,
Hmm.
what, 36 years of age.
Hmm.
And I was just looking up yesterday, I was amazed. Both Virat and Rohit have retired from T20. There's
Hmm.
only two remaining formats. And
Hmm.
interestingly, after the Champions Trophy, the
Hmm.
next real ODI ICC tournament, because that's how ODIs go. I mean, you plan for the next
Hmm.
ICC event pretty much. That's how
Hmm.
limited overs must be planned as well. And
Hmm.
the next ICC tournament, I believe in ODIs, is the ICC World Cup of 2027,
Right.
which is November of 2027 in South
Hmm.
Africa, Zimbabwe, and Namibia.
Hmm.
So, I mean, if you look at the age of Virat Kohli then and the
Hmm.
age of Rohit Sharma then, Rohit will be past 40,
Hmm.
Virat will have been 39
Hmm.
by that time. It's 2.5 years, probably more than 2.5 years away now, given we
Hmm.
are only in January of 2025.
Hmm.
So, almost 3 years away, right? So, that tells you a story that, hey, these guys are not going to be around after the Champions Trophy potentially.
Hmm.
And that's why I believe there's a lot of, uh, you know, uh, push to get Jasprit Bumrah fit. If you see, there's a lot of, you know, I believe a lot of time that's been taken into squad announcement. because it's potentially the last chance for these, as Ashwin called them, the OGs, right?
Hmm.
For the OGs of ODIs for a lot of time to come in and win a major tournament in ODIs. I mean, we lost the 2017 Champions Trophy final. We
Hmm.
lost in the semi-final of the 2019 World Cup. We lost in the final, well, agonizingly I
Hmm.
mean, what, 14 months, 15 months ago.
Yes.
So, given all of that, I think the context is sets it up beautifully. Firstly, white ball cricket is going to get a complete new canvas. You can already
Hmm.
see that with our T20 team. It's
Hmm.
a refreshed T20 team.
Hmm.
It is far distanced from the test squad. I
Hmm.
mean, I was looking at Harsha Bhogle speak recently, and he's right.
Hmm.
I think we're already moving in a new direction in T20. The
Hmm.
same is going to happen potentially after the Champions Trophy, right?
Hmm.
I don't see Rohit and Virat really playing the next World Cup. So in that case, their main focus is Test cricket, and unfortunately for them, their main pain area has been Test cricket over the last couple of years.
Hmm.
Mostly for Virat, at least in last 5 years. So, are
Hmm.
we really looking at a full-blown transition with no Virat and Rohit potentially in the next few months? I believe so. I mean, definitely two formats are out of the way
Hmm.
from next month, and the
Hmm.
third format is all dicey. So now that sets it up beautifully to your question, right? Now,
Hmm.
uh, who are the ones who are likely to, emerge, as you said?
Hmm.
Before we take names, I mean,
Hmm.
what would you generally like to see in a batsman or a bowler trying to take up? Let's take red ball for example
Hmm.
today, because I think red ball is
Hmm.
the most important area of focus. If we
Hmm.
produce good red ball cricketers, I'm sure we'll produce a lot of good white ball cricketers. So
Hmm.
I am of that belief, and I
Hmm.
think in red ball, what do you see? I mean, firstly,
Hmm.
what you see is consistency,
Hmm.
because you want someone
Hmm.
who's been performing for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years potentially in domestic cricket,
Hmm.
right? And with some level of consistency. Maybe you're not the top scorer like
Hmm.
Sarfraz Khan was for like, I
Hmm.
don't know, 2, 3, 4 years continuously.
Hmm.
That is like a clear sign, but maybe
Hmm.
there are some players who are there and thereabouts in the top 20 run getters, averaging over 45 in a batsman. I think in test
Hmm.
in first class is something that you would look at.
Hmm.
Secondly, the most important thing, given the variety of conditions in India and the variety of methods in which runs are made in India, the
Hmm.
eye test is very important,
Hmm.
right? A player who may be making a lot of runs in domestic cricket but will fail to adapt to test cricket simply because his technique or the way he made runs in domestic cricket may not translate to test cricket, especially while you go abroad. I mean, we've seen a lot of those examples, at least in recent times. I mean, Sarfraz Khan is a great example of
Hmm.
players being picked on the eye test. This guy
Hmm.
broke all possible domestic records, made it to
Hmm.
the Indian test team, didn't do all that badly, to be honest,
Yeah.
in the England series and the New Zealand series. He was
Yeah.
better than all of the other batters,
Yeah.
but didn't get a game in Australia. Who got a game in Australia? Devdutt Padikkal. That's a classic example of, you know, eye
Yeah.
test. So
Yeah.
eye test is very important. I'm by
Hmm.
no means insinuating
Hmm.
that, hey, Sarfraz should have been picked ahead of Devdutt Padikkal. I
Hmm.
like the fact that you're coupling consistency and run scoring with what is called the eye test.
Hmm.
Now, with those two kept in mind, I have a few very nice names.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I won't say they are
Hmm.
names that are unknown. I would
Hmm.
say they're names that are less known, especially in today's
Hmm.
day and age, where
Hmm.
there is a lot of coverage of Indian domestic cricket. I'm sure people
Hmm.
would have heard a lot about these names. A lot of
Hmm.
these names are actually under 19 stars. Under
Hmm.
19 Cricket World Cup is followed very well in India because we've practically ruled that particular edition,
Hmm.
under 19
Yeah.
World Cup for a long time,
Yeah.
right? And we've been in last, I don't know, I think all the finals since 2014, if I'm not wrong,
Yes.
right? So maybe the odd final here and there missing out, but we've
Yeah.
been in
That's the
most of the
only ICC trophy I look forward to as an Indian fan. I'm.
we can quickly transition now to batsmen. I think there's a lot of interest also in batsmen, and rightly so. So I picked one wild card. You can hold me
mm,
I don't think you know that name yet, but you can hold me for
mm,
that player going forward.
mm,
Um, uh, but then the rest, I think for red ball, as far as red ball batting is concerned,
mm,
I'm very impressed with a couple of upcoming batters.
mm,
And I would like to start with, again, a less known name, but a World Cup winning captain at the under 19 level,
mm,
Yas Dhul from Delhi. Um,
mm,
and
mm,
I'll just quickly pull up, you
mm,
know, his stats as well.
mm.
And there's a request for
Yeah,
sharing.
I've done.
So I'll just quickly.
I mean, Yash Dhul, I remember him starting really well in his domestic, just post that under 19 World Cup win. But
Oh,
after
yes,
that, there
absolutely.
was a time, I think there was some politics going on where he was even removed as captain. He was made captain really early of Delhi cricket team. Then he was removed. And there was also that Nitish Rana celebration. I remember that Nitish Rana, I think he started playing for a different Ranji team. He's originally from Delhi, but he started playing for a different Ranji team, and he celebrated his 100 by taking some, patting his bat and saying that "Dhool uda diya maine." So there was something going
Yeah,
on there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll get to that. It's very interesting. But, Yash Dhul, I will
Hmm,
give myself a pat on the back. I think when I watched him play for India under 19 and win us that World Cup in
hmm,
2022,
hmm,
I was telling my then close cricket friends that here's a guy who's the next Virat Kohli.
hmm,
And he's going to come very soon. I
hmm,
expected him to make his India debut around about now, you
hmm,
know, but it's not happened, but it
hmm,
will happen. Here's a guy, I think, who carries a great
hmm,
attitude, great
hmm,
short range, very innovative batting methods.
hmm,
He's got a mix of orthodoxy and unorthodoxy in his batting. Like he charges down the wicket,
hmm,
you know, and at the same time, he's got a very tight defense. So
hmm,
this is a guy who
hmm,
already, mind you, and here are the stats.
hmm,
He's had at least couple of seasons in first class cricket. He's probably into his third or fourth season now.
hmm,
And the guy is already averaging 47 with 700s. I think the big number here is the 700s.
hmm,
700s in 28 matches
hmm,
is absolutely incredible. This
hmm,
is 100 in every four matches, which is, very, very, very good for a very young player who's still only 22. Okay.
hmm,
And to me, he's Yashasvi Jaiswal level if you give him the opportunity.
hmm,
The big challenge,
hmm,
though, is will he be able to, like you rightly alluded to at the start of this segment, will he
hmm,
be able to circumvent the politics at Delhi?
hmm,
I mean, yes, Delhi were having a bad season. I think clearly some of the senior players were not happy with Yash Dhul, right, being made captain. And then
hmm,
they lost to Pondicherry,
hmm,
and then he had to be sacked as captain. Now, that is somehow, for some reason, has put in a disciplinary blemish on his career.
hmm,
And it's already impacting his batting,
hmm,
this, uh, I believe, this season. He's not
hmm,
making a lot of runs this season. He's
hmm,
uh, he's dropped a few times. He's dropped
hmm,
from the Vijay Hazare despite having, an
hmm,
average of 43. The guy's already got a double hundred, I believe. I don't know if this was exactly on debut.
hmm,
I think it was on Ranji debut. I think I can quickly pull up
hmm.
this debut.
List A. Okay.
So Yashdul made 100 on his debut,
113. Yeah, yeah.
113 opening the batting. Now he's
Hmm,
typically a mid-order bat. I
hmm.
think again opened the batting for Delhi because I presume, and he made 113 again in the second innings. So
Yeah.
his 200s in his debut first
Hmm,
class game. This is
hmm,
absolutely fantastic. And this Tamil Nadu boss. It's not
hmm,
just any team. Sandeep Warrior above 140 Ks, Sai Kishore, as you alluded to, part of this attack,
hmm,
you know. And
Hmm.
there's a few others there as well. There's
Hmm.
Muhammad who bowls a tidy left arm spin. So
Hmm.
there is this. And so this guy's also got a double hundred later that we looked at, obviously, and all of that. So
Hmm.
again, coming back to Yashdul, I think this guy is
Hmm.
absolutely sensational. I've
Hmm.
seen him bat many a times. I'm
Hmm.
surprised he hasn't got enough chances at Delhi Daredevils or Delhi Capitals as it's called now.
Hmm.
And I don't know whether he gets a fair chance at the IPL going forward, because somehow everybody seems to notice everybody who performs at the IPL. But
Hmm.
here's a guy who's a gem, like a literal gem who hasn't played in the IPL as much.
Hmm.
He may have some attitude issues, but again, I have a very different view that management needs to learn to deal with personalities,
Hmm.
especially when you're dealing with Gen Z.
Hmm.
And Yashdul is one of them. Absolutely fabulous. I put my money on him being a superstar going forward. If only he's given the opportunities that some of the others have certainly gotten,
Hmm.
right? So, and I think that's the wrap on Yashdul. I think it's a great
Hmm.
prospect.
Hmm.
Going forward, I think outside of Yashdul, I think there's a couple of more well-known names. Again, under 19, one of them under 19 stars, Mushir Khan, a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Um, I'll quickly pull up Mushir as well.
And Mushir is someone I myself saw him bat. So I visited one of the Ranji games when I was living in Mumbai. It was last year around March. So Mumbai versus Tamil Nadu final. Uh, I saw him bat. That's also where Shardul Thakur also got a big hundred,
Yeah, yeah.
along with Tanush Kotian. And
I remember that game. Yes.
yeah, and he came, and it was a very, very difficult pitch to bat. I mean, Tamil Nadu made 130 something with Vijay Shankar top scoring, and then came Mumbai, and they were also collapsing. So I think Shreyas Iyer, Rahane, and one of the openers were gone very early, and then I saw that brilliant. It was not 100, maybe 90 or something, but it was one of the best innings that I've seen. He has a very tight defense, and I really like the stability that he brings. And right now, we need someone like Hanuma Vihari or Cheteshwar Pujara. I think this guy can do it. I honestly felt
So was
if
this the Ranji final,
it
Shikhar?
was semi-finals,
Yeah,
it
so he
was
made a
in
15. I'll come to that. Go ahead. Sorry.
uh,
Yeah, yeah.
no, no, I was that's what I was telling. He was brilliant. I think he made 100. I'm not exactly sure of the score, but it was
I'll come to
beautiful
that. I'll
to.
come. He made a 50 in that game, which you
Ha.
rightly pointed out. I remember watching that game too. And
Hmm.
Shardul made 100 coming in late.
Yes,
That
yes,
helped
yes.
Mumbai. So,
Hmm.
I mean, if you look at Mushir Khan, this is a guy who made his first class debut in a Ranji Trophy quarter final, Shikhar.
Hmm. Hmm.
Ranji
Hmm.
Trophy quarter final against, I think, Vidarbha was it, or maybe some other team. I don't remember the team. We
Yes.
can go to that very quickly. It's a very small list of matches that he's had. But he made a
Yeah.
double hundred to
Hmm.
announce himself
Hmm.
right away on debut, right? So very interesting.
Hmm.
Again, straight after the
Hmm.
World Cup. And this was Baroda, right? Quarterfinal. That was his first
Hmm.
class debut. The
Hmm.
guy made 203 not out.
Hmm.
I mean, irrespective, this was in Mumbai, irrespective of the opposition,
Hmm.
irrespective of the pitch. This is your first class debut as an 18, 19-year-old,
Hmm.
right? And this is what he does.
Hmm.
And then you alluded to Mumbai, Tamil Nadu, rightly so,
Yeah,
55.
55. Yes, yes.
And
And
then the
this was
final,
very tough pitch.
136.
And
This
that
was on a
that
very tough pitch.
Mumbai versus Tamil Nadu, I'll just take a minute because I remember Washington Sundar really struggled with the tail again. Like he was the only one who was batting with the tail. Vijay Shankar had made a 50 or something, and nobody could actually bat versus Tushar Deshpande and Shardul Thakur in that game. And the Tamil Nadu bowlers, when they started bowling, I know Kuldeep Sen was an outstate player for who was playing for Tamil
Yeah,
Nadu. He was bowling really fast in that
yeah.
innings. And
Yeah.
I know Tanush Kotian is there, Shams Mulani is there. They have a very good attack. Mumbai has a very, I mean, Tamil Nadu has also Sai
Sandeep
Kishore.
Warrior who's fairly quick.
Sandeep
Yeah.
Warrior was playing, right? Sandeep Warrior was playing. So Tamil Nadu had a good attack, but this guy was very good in defense. I could really, literally see a Cheteshwar Pujara or a Hanuma Vihari build of player in Mushir Khan. And I was very sad when I learned about that accident that
This
he
was the
had.
attack. Sandeep Warrior, Kuldeep Sen, Sai
Yeah,
Kishore, Washington Sundar,
yeah,
Ajit
yeah.
Ram again. I mean, he probably fell to. I
Hmm,
mean, if you look at the scorecard again, apart from Shardul and Tanush Koteyan who came in, made runs at the
hmm,
end, you could see that none of the top order made a lot of runs, and Sai
yeah.
Kishore was
Yeah,
amongst them.
Sai Kishore ran through the top order. Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
And
true.
Mumbai has that red soil which really
Then there's
aids.
Prithvi Shaw as well,
uh,
another under
Prithvi
19
Shaw.
sensation from
Yeah, yeah.
yesteryear,
I remember
right?
I saw this wicket caught in Indrajit Bolt's and I saw it from the ground.
Right.
So Narayan Jagdishan's parents were sitting just next to me in this, when I was watching
Wonderful.
this game. So they were sitting next to me. I
Wonderful.
was not aware. Only later I got to know they were his
Came to know.
parents. Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, very interesting. I mean, my thoughts
Hmm,
on Mushir, right? I mean,
hmm,
he is very innovative again, like Yashdul. He walks across his stumps on the eye test, gets around to off stump. This guy again made 100 in the Dulip Trophy recently, right?
hmm,
In Anandpur. And this guy walks across his stumps and plays in front of his bats. Plays a lot like Steve. I mean, not as idiosyncratic as maybe Steve Smith,
hmm,
but certainly moves across and makes it very, very,
hmm,
awkward for the bowler. And
hmm,
most importantly, to his defense. I mean, I'm glad you spoke about his defense.
hmm,
He was known for his attack in the Under 19 World Cup. He was very good attacking towards the back end of the innings.
hmm,
And then his defense, he's very plays very close to his body. I think a lot of that has to be credit to his father, Naushad Khan.
hmm,
I've seen his coaching methods on
hmm,
YouTube and so on. Naushad Khan actually came out and he trained both these kids.
hmm,
Sarfraz, obviously, being his elder brother, made already debut for India. Both very similar in the way that they bat, in the sense that they play very close to their body. That is one quality, and play very late. Okay. Defense, extremely late, right under the eyes, like Pujara, like you rightly said.
hmm,
And that is a rare quality you see today in Joe Root and Kane Williamson.
hmm,
But when you see a lot of the other players, they're more swashbuckling, more they reach out to the ball, like the Kohli way, right?
hmm, hmm,
But these are two players who got like defenses, like they play right under the eyes and
hmm,
play very, very late. So Mushir Khan also was also videoed by an English channel, I think 10 years ago or
hmm,
thereabouts.
hmm,
Was this young left arm spinner in Mumbai Maidans who had bowled Yuvraj Singh.
hmm,
Okay. Like he was like a 12, I think 12-year-old or a 10-year-old at the
hmm,
time. And he had bowled Yuvraj Singh with his left arm spin. There's a video of that on YouTube.
hmm,
Um, and then he went on to play under 19, and I had a very, very good look at him in the under 19 World Cup, and he was
hmm,
promising.
hmm,
Obviously, the same World Cup had a couple of other batters, but again,
hmm, hmm.
since Rahul Dravid brought in this rule that no under 19 World Cup representative of the Indian team would play another under 19. So you can only play one under 19 World Cup today as
Yeah,
an under 19 star for India. So
yeah.
definitely Mushir Khan was a star
Hmm,
of this lot, right? That lost the final to Australia, right?
hmm,
Again, Tom Straker,
hmm,
Beardman, these guys making first class or listed debuts now.
hmm,
But, and then Connolly was part of that team.
hmm.
Connolly, who's now on the test squad for Sri Lanka. So
Yes.
Mushir Khan, unfortunately, I think a few months ago, again met with a car accident.
Hmm,
Came through fairly unscathed, but he'll need to recover a bit to come back. It's a
hmm.
shame because he would have gotten picked,
Yeah.
uh, very quickly into the Indian team. If not
Yes.
the Indian team, at
Yes.
least the India A setup. It's a shame that he's missed out.
Yes,
Did what?
I do feel he would have been picked for maybe the third test versus New Zealand at his home ground.
Exactly.
I think the chances were very, very high of,
Very, very high. And this guy made runs in Duleep Trophy, made 181 in Duleep Trophy, right?
yeah,
And this Duleep Trophy is not like the old one. This is the best, I
yeah,
think, 50 players in the country competing
yeah,
against each other in this tournament now. The old one
yeah,
would be more region wise and so on. Now they've
yeah.
changed that to this India A, B, C, D format where the top players would get picked,
And
top
this
50
181, which you are referring to, is the match. Actually, I saw this entire game live.
on
So
TV.
India B were much underdogs compared to India A. India A actually had Shubman Gill and KL Rahul.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
this was actually one of the best test matches I have seen. Domestic test matches I have seen. Obviously, Mushir Khan making 181. This was a very spicy pitch in Bangalore.
Just look at the scorecard and you will know.
Hmm.
Yashasvi
Yeah.
Jaiswal, today's star,
Yes, yes. Yeah.
made 30 in this one.
Mm, mm,
Fell to I think Khalil Ahmed. Yeah. And
mm.
then you got obviously you got a few
This was
more. There
India's.
was Akashdeep. Just
Yeah,
look at the attack here.
you had everyone. You had India's best second line pace attack in this. Like
Yes.
Khalil Ahmed,
Yes.
Akashdeep, Avesh Khan, Kuldeep Yadav. I mean, what else can you ask for?
Tanush Kotian, who's now been called up.
Tanush
So
Kotian.
yes.
Yeah. So this is amazing, amazing performance. This was one of
And
the best
what
innings
I
I've seen.
love about this, what I love
Hmm.
about this Shikhar, look at the number of balls played.
Hmm.
This is not
Absolutely.
one of those, hey, I'm going to chance my arm and if it
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
away.
Absolutely.
This is a proper test innings.
Hmm.
This is a proper test innings.
Hmm.
And he's played. I mean, look at the fall of wickets. He came in at number three, came in which over, right? I mean, these are important things. 13th over, Abhimanyu Ishwaran, who was
Hmm.
on that trip to Australia,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And 1 for 33, 13 overs done, fairly facing a semi new ball. And then
And
here he is. I think
And
when
just
does he
show
leave?
me the opposition scorecard also because I would like to
Yeah.
show you that because it was not a easy pitch to
It
bat on.
wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. You had Mayank Agarwal, Shubman Gill, Riyan Parag, KL Rahul, Dhruv Jurel.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at that top order.
And that bowling attack was not as strong as India A bowling attack. If you see
Yes.
no, you can go down further.
There's
Uh,
also Rishabh Pant who came in later. I was just trying
yeah,
to see
yeah.
where that came in because Pant
Rishabh
came in and
Pant.
kept wickets
I think he came after the first test.
first
I
innings.
think.
Yeah.
Huh. And
Yeah, he
if you
batted
see,
in the
this
second innings.
was Nitish Kumar Reddy, Sai Kishore, Washington Sundar. Uh, this was a below, uh, not a below par, but
This was lower level bowling attack than the first one. Yes.
yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. You
Yes.
can say that. And you certainly expected KL Rahul or Shubman Gill to get a
Absolutely.
Khan kind of knock in this match, but it was Mushir Khan who actually delivered a brilliant. I mean, he was, and I know how he got out. I saw that innings from Mushir also. He tried for an unnecessary slog sweep. Otherwise, this would have been a big double-handed. He went
No,
for
no, I
a
think the only reason, Shikhar, is
hmm,
also if you look at it, he was the ninth wicket to fall. Maybe he
yeah,
was
yeah.
trying to maximize runs at the end.
Hmm,
He was the eighth wicket to fall at
hmm.
110 overs,
He was,
right?
but Navdeep Saini was supporting him well. He scored some,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Hmm,
that's true. Navdeep Sahni made runs towards the end.
hmm,
Again, this guy is special. I mean, he's played Akashdeep, man.
hmm.
Akashdeep is that wobble seam. He had 4 for 60 in
Right,
this innings. And
right.
he's that wobble seam expert from India. I mean, I would see
Hmm,
Akashdeep going to heights in the next couple of years if he keeps himself fit. The
hmm.
same way, I think Mushir Khan is ready, man. This is a guy, I
Yeah,
don't normally say that. This is a
yeah.
guy who's ready. Okay.
Yes,
And he's 2 years younger than even Yashdul.
yes,
So
yes,
these are
yes.
the players I believe, again, not getting a great look in probably from the IPL standpoint,
Hmm,
right? This is where I think Indian
hmm,
cricket has to look a little bit away from the IPL now because
hmm,
earlier all your under 19 stars would get drafted in automatically into IPL. Today, given
hmm,
the strength of teams and the scouting networks, it's not so automatic for under 19 stars anymore. So
hmm,
all of these guys who are now making the grade through first class cricket, I think
hmm,
Mushir Khan is a big deal.
hmm.
And then quickly, I mean,
Like uh, just one point I want to make, like sometimes we do see the stats and we do see, uh, I think selectors should really look into the conditions, really look into the oppositions also when they're assessing
Yes.
domestic performances. Because this is a brilliant knock, and this shows that he's ready. Sometimes what happens is selectors will just see the stats, like okay, this guy has scored 1,000 runs in this Ranji season, but you have to see the conditions. Similarly, I know you have some other batsmen in line also, Karthik, but I want to mention another batsman before we move forward. I think there was a knock from Srijit Krishnan
Oh, yes.
on his
Yes.
debut, and UP were bowled out for 89. This was not Srijit Krishnan's home ground. This match was going on in Lucknow, and UP got bowled out for 89 there. And this guy comes in, Karnataka are three down. He's being picked up as a wicket keeper, and he scores a
Wicket-keeper
brilliant
batsman,
100.
yes.
Recently, also, I think
Left-hander,
he
I think. Very elegant left-hander, if I'm not wrong. Yes.
Yes, and recently also scored a big 100 in Vijay Hazare Trophy, where they had to
Yes.
chase an unbelievable total. Someone scored a double hundred, I think, from the opposition, and I think Anmol Preet and Abhishek Sharma, they both got big hundreds,
Yes.
and still this
Yes.
guy managed
And
to chase
Karnataka
down.
walked it. Walked that chase, I remember.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So I think
Hmm.
they should look at these things than pure stats. Like eye test, you said that's a very good thing, but you should also look at the context of the match. I think sometimes
Yes.
what you miss is the context of the game, the context of the opposition, the pitches. Those things should also be seen and given
No, I,
importance.
I completely agree. And all the time we are spending on Mushir Khan,
Hmm.
completely deserved. I think this is a
Hmm.
guy who's ready to make the step up, guys. Probably
Hmm.
he'll eventually maybe replace his brother. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uh, in the setup, that will be ironic, but
Hmm.
I think Mushir Khan, fantastic talent. I mean, moving
Hmm.
forward from Mushir Khan,
Hmm.
uh, I would like to mention Sai Sudarshan. I would
Hmm.
not go too far with by way of stats. I think a lot of them know Sai
Hmm.
Sudarshan today. A lot of
Yeah.
our viewers would think Sai Sudarshan today,
Yes.
given the
Yes.
IPL exploits. Obviously,
Hmm.
done brilliantly in high pressure games in the IPL for
Hmm.
Gujarat Titans. And now here's a guy who's also made his ODI debut.
Hmm.
Made 250s in 3 matches that he's had. And the only other game I think he was not out, literally.
Hmm.
So, so 3 innings he's had and he's been dismissed twice. Average is 63.
Hmm.
Made couple of 50s in South Africa, mind you, right?
Hmm.
Opening the batting. So, and then
Hmm.
obviously rightly so made it to the India A setup. I was
Hmm.
a little disappointed that he didn't get the nod ahead of Devdutt Padikkal, because
Hmm.
Devdutt Padikkal, as you could see, while
Hmm.
he's a fine player in his own right,
Hmm.
had this front foot issue. I think he
Hmm.
doesn't go forward to full length balls, and you could see that in Australia, right?
Yeah, I also think with regards to Devdutt Padikkal, sometimes he doesn't reach to the peak pitch of the ball.
Exactly.
Like you said, so his drives are almost uppish. Whenever he drives,
Yes.
it feels like it's not under control. And
Yes.
he got out on his debut test versus England. Also, he got out in a similar manner. And
Yes. Although he
that
made a 50 on a very flat pitch, right?
yeah, he made a 50, but yes, there is something unsure about his batting, which
Yes.
I know he has made tons of runs in Ranji. Again,
Yeah.
that's why I'm emphasizing on that context. That is so important for the selectors to
No,
see.
no, very rightly. I think
Hmm.
Devdutt Padikkal, I would like to give some more context. I think Devdutt Padikkal was moving his front foot more freely earlier. I think he went through a break in first class cricket where
Hmm.
he had some mental health issues. And
Hmm.
kudos to him for coming out and really
Hmm.
taking that break and coming back to cricket.
Hmm.
Ever since he's come back, I think he's
Hmm.
had this front foot problem. One good news, Shikhar, is that I've seen him bat in this year's Vijay Hazare, not so
Hmm.
long back, and
Hmm.
he's done very well. And he's moving his front foot a lot better than he
Hmm.
was maybe in Australia or maybe against England.
Hmm.
But I was a little disappointed that Sai Sudarshan didn't get the nod. Then only quickly did I understand after doing some research that on that A tour, after that, he was scheduled to get a sports hernia operation done. So I
Hmm.
think he's currently recovering from that, and therefore he's not been part of the white ball season and the red ball season for Tamil Nadu. But
Hmm.
here's a guy who averages, you know, again, this is very different. Sai Sudarshan averages only 41 in first class cricket. Normally, I
Hmm.
wouldn't pick someone who would be averaging 45, under 45.
Hmm.
But Sai Sudarshan, given the eye test, he's a bit,
Hmm.
I don't want him to become another Sanju Samson
Hmm.
or Rohit Sharma of old,
Hmm.
where there's a lot happening. Sometimes, Greg Chappell once, rather, Ian Chappell once said, some players are sometimes too good for lower level.
Hmm.
And if you keep them there for too long, they
Hmm.
lose that, that little X factor that makes them
Hmm.
so good at the top level, right?
Hmm.
So Sai Sudarshan probably fits that bill. Very elegant, classy left-hander, probably a left-handed version of Mark Waugh in the
Hmm.
way, in the lazy elegance that he portrays, right? So I really want him to be fast-tracked before
Hmm.
he's consumed by the rigors of Indian domestic cricket. While he still
Hmm.
has to prove himself, I fully agree,
Hmm.
given there
Hmm.
are so many top players ahead of him. But here
Yeah.
is a guy who's again very close to the India cap
Hmm.
in red ball. And once you see Rohit and Virat depart, I think he'll be one of them who'll certainly be considered for that middle order for sure.
Hmm.
Or even top order at number three.
Hmm.
Should Gill wish to drop down or Gill go out of favor, right?
Hmm.
So this is with Sai Sudarshan.
Hmm.
The other name I'd like to take is a very tried and tested,
Hmm.
uh, you know, state mate of Sai Sudarshan is Baba
Yeah.
Indrajit, right?
I was actually waiting for this name for a long time because I really like you have been part of our cricket conversations recently, but before that also within our group uh, I've been impressing upon others that this guy really deserves a chance. But he looks a bit awkward when you actually see him play. He looks a bit awkward, but the stats are just amazing because he always averages above par when you take a longer
Yes.
period. So there was a stat that from 2017 onwards, he's the only batsman in Ranji Trophy to be averaging 45 plus, and that is amazing. And recently, I saw that he was, I think, in the India C squad, India C team, if I am correct.
Oh yeah, he was part of the India A side that went to Australia as well. So,
Uh,
and he did
no,
play.
I'm
Unfortunately,
talking
he
about
didn't make runs there.
I'm talking, yeah, he made some runs there, but I'm talking about the Dulip Trophy games that were recently held.
Oh yes, he was part of Dulip Trophy. He made runs in Dulip
He
Trophy.
made
Um,
runs there also,
I
and he
would just
played
like
some
to make one
exceptional,
comment.
innovative shots also there, which I was not expecting from him. So he was.
No, he's very good. I mean, he
Hmm,
among the list of players that we've seen,
hmm,
statistically he averages 52.
hmm.
He was earlier he was cast aside as the twin brother of Baba Apparajit, if you remember,
Yes, yes.
part of the India under 19 World Cup winning team of 2012 under Unmukh Chand,
Hmm,
right? Against
hmm.
Australia again.
Yeah.
So while we all keep talking about Australia owning us in ICC tournaments, I think we have owned them more in under 19, although they beat us in the recent under 19 World
Right,
Cup.
right,
We've
right.
beaten them a couple of times in
Yeah.
finals.
Hmm,
And no, Indrajit coming back again, he was cast aside early on as the twin brother,
hmm,
but he came in for Tamil Nadu. I think Aparajit has fallen away a little bit with his batting,
hmm,
and Indrajit has taken over as the mainstay, and he's 52, averages 52 in first class cricket over 81 games with 16 hundreds. This is a lot of batting, and he's 30 years old.
hmm,
The only comment I like to make, Shikhar,
hmm,
here
hmm,
is here is the problem of the eye test. You know,
hmm,
the I said Sai Sudarshan average is a bit below par, but you have to pick him.
hmm,
At the same time, Indrajit averages like Indrajit is has to be picked basis stats,
hmm.
but he's that Sarfraz Khan of Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Reason being, I've seen
Hmm,
him bat in the A tour games against Australia,
hmm.
and again, a little bit unsure, like you said, a little bit awkward.
Yeah, he looks really
Somehow,
awkward. I mean, his batting stance is really awkward. If you see that he
yeah,
has an open kind of stance when he plays, so that
yes.
looks a bit awkward, but he does score runs. I mean, but he may not be scoring those big runs. What I think when I analyze him, he may not be scoring those big runs, but he gives that middle order resistance. Whenever there is a collapse, he plays that kind of knock. Again, we have to see lot of context. I think here also when we
No, I agree.
analyze.
I think the only way for these players is to go on A tours and perform. and knock
Yeah,
the
yeah,
door down. I
yeah.
think what's happened is he's not done so well against
But what
Australia
will be
yet.
his age, Karthik?
He's
In
30
this,
years. He's 30
he's
years,
30 already.
30 and a half.
Mm,
So he's, no, I don't mind picking them. I think 30 could be a
mm,
ripe age for red
yeah.
ball cricket,
Mm,
especially as the youngsters come through, right? So I don't
mm,
mind picking a few between 28 and 32. The only
mm,
challenge is, can Indrajit prove it at a level higher than first class cricket?
mm,
I mean, you've got to prove it at the India A level to make it to the India
mm.
side.
Right.
You cannot just rely on first class cricket alone,
Mm,
given there is a clear gap.
mm,
And at least at the IPL level, IPL is again that India A
mm,
eye test passing. Ruturaj Gaikwad is an example, right? Again, doesn't do very well
mm,
by stats like Sanju Samson, but all of us want him picked because he looks so beautiful.
mm,
Now you need both. I would say
mm,
for red ball, Shikhar, my thumb rule is very clear. For red ball, if you have to break the door down,
yeah.
you have to have the eye test and you have to have the backing of numbers, both, right?
Absolutely. And
So,
for Sanju, I have been a big supporter, but I have never supported his selection for any red ball cricket because
yes,
he doesn't have the numbers to even in Kerala, like even Sachin Baby
yes,
or Vishnu Vinod, they have better numbers than
yes,
Sanju in Kerala.
yes,
And Ruturaj, again, someone who started uh, exactly at the same time as Devdutt Padikkal, and
yes,
Devdutt couldn't solidify his IPL franchisee cricket that as strongly as Ruturaj has done, and Ruturaj has become a crowd favorite because he has the backing of CSK, which is like India's
correct.
best,
And the
most followed,
loyalist, the biggest fan base, yes.
yeah, most followed franchisee. So he has that backing, but also we should keep in mind the context and the stats, and also whether he is really able to survive a seaming and swinging kind of attack. So all these things, yeah, those drives look beautiful, no doubt. I mean, those drives look beautiful, but and that's why I thought that they should have actually introduced Rutraj into that ODI kind of format earlier. When they actually took a chance on Shubman Gill, they could have actually taken a chance on Ruturaj at that time. But obviously, they took a punt on Shubman Gill that time. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, sometimes it's just destiny. And,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, hmm,
I think as we wrap up,
hmm,
I mean, we've done a very good coverage of these batters. There are two
hmm,
names I would like to take as outsiders. We won't analyze them too much, but watch out for
hmm,
Nishant Sindhu.
yeah,
Okay. This guy
hmm,
is your Ravindra Jadeja replacement.
hmm,
He is from Rohtak, Haryana, part of the under
hmm,
19 team again that
hmm,
I think recently won in 2020, if I was not
hmm,
wrong, 2022
hmm,
rather. And part of the same team as Yashdul. Very
hmm,
young, averages 35 in first class cricket, but he's an all rounder. He
hmm.
averages the bat 35 and ball 25,
What about
right?
Karthik Sachin Das? Because he had a big knock in the under
Very true.
19
Very true.
final,
Sachin Das
and
was the other guy who was very, very good,
hmm,
I would say, in that World Cup, along
Uday
with
Saharan.
Mushir, along
Mushir.
with Mushir.
Mushir and Uday Saharan also. I mean,
Uday Saharan,
hmm,
yes. Yes, I mean, I haven't added them for this segment, but
hmm.
Sachin Das again has only played six first class games and not done much,
Recently,
unfortunately.
he made his debut recently in the recent edition of Ranji
Yes,
Trophy.
and he averages only 26 in six first class games. So
Hmm,
Sachin Das is a bit of a disappointment so far, but you can
hmm,
obviously give him time. Not every
hmm,
player matures at the same time at this level.
hmm,
So I was looking at Nishant Sindhu because I think he's a complete package. The guy can spin
hmm,
the ball. He averages 25 with the ball and 35 with
hmm.
the bat for
Yeah.
Haryana, where he's known to be fast bowling. And then he does well. He's known to be fast bowling zone, I
Okay.
guess.
So
But
Karthik,
he
we
does
have
well.
1 minute remaining before we leave. Like
Yeah,
there
we
is
wrap
also.
up. Now my last wild card in 1 minute.
Hmm,
This guy has played only one first class game.
hmm,
Okay? And he's made 100 in his first class game.
hmm.
This guy plays for Rajasthan. I saw him bat in this year's Vijay Hazare. He's 18 years old. His name is Karthik Sharma, my namesake.
Okay.
Have him in your mind. The guy has a list A average of 55. First class,
Hmm,
he just debuted, I think, this season, made 100
hmm,
at a
hmm,
strike rate of 98. So this
Hmm.
guy is a Gen Z guy, and he will. My bet is he will be a star coming.
I'll quickly add two more names. Ayush Matre is one from Mumbai.
Ayush
Uh,
Matre, yes.
that he looks promising, and there is Andre Siddharth from Tamil Nadu team.